Welcome to the Bodaciously Awesome Family Show. Bodaciously Awesome Family Show. The only show dedicated to helping parents maximize their kids' experiences and for kids to reap the fun. Here are your hosts, the Bodacious family, Adam and Zachary.
Welcome back to Bodaciously Awesome Family
Show.
Bodaciously
Awesome Podcast Show?
Sure, why not? Welcome back. I am Adam.
I am Antonio.
And Zachary has... And Zachary has the night off. Welcome back to the Bodaciously Awesome Family Show. And, with movie theaters closed, we haven't been able to do many movie reviews this last year.
But that's about to change.
Well, it is, because we've done a couple as things have premiered on streaming or whatever. So remember, you always tell people they can find us on Google and all those places, and podcast lands and pod forums and all those things, and they can email us at Gmail and find us on the Twitter and all that kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. We got all that part out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what are we reviewing today, Anthony?
The Dan Snyder cut of the Justice League movie made by DC Films International place.
That is correct. We are reviewing the Zack Snyder, not the Dan Snyder.
That's what I said, Zack Snyder. I think you need to check your tape.
Okay. So we are reviewing #Snyder Cut of Justice League.
Oh boy. I'm sure it was great. I did not watch it.
See, and that's going to be the gimmick here, right? Is that you have actually not seen #Snyder Cut.
I have not seen it, and I have no plans of seeing it unless you tell me it's this amazing movie. It's so good. But I'm taking a stab in the dark here. You're not going to say that. I'm
going to tell you that I think that what I'm going to tell you is going to intrigue you, and I do not think pretty much anything that happens in this conversation will be as you expect.
Okay.
So there.
Yeah, you show me.
I will. So, a little backstory for those that don't know. Justice League, the movie came out now 3-4 years ago.
And it put people to sleep all across the United States.
It did. It was a glorious 2-hour nap.
Mm-hmm.
So it was being directed by Zack Snyder, and he was butting heads with people at Warner Brothers. They didn't like his vision, and then he had a personal tragedy in his family, so he left the movie. And Joss Whedon, who is the director of Avengers 1 and 2, came in to it was already done. All he had to do was just, take #Snyder Cut from a 4-hour assembly and add some special effects and make a 2-hour movie. Instead, Joss reshot like 3/4 of the movie.
But not the whole thing.
Right.
So which makes it feel very disjointed.
Correct. And so tone is all off, and it's all over the place. Some of the general beats are still the same, but not really. So Snyder had said that there was a #Snyder Cut. It was also pretty obvious that it wasn't, because Warner spent $70 million to get this version out onto HBO Max, which is just crazy. And they reshot stuff, although a little bit, and had to do a lot of special effects work.
That is all correct, I assume.
Yes, and so we get #Snyder Cut. So first thing to note is that #Snyder Cut is 4 hours and 2 minutes long.
Make sure you get the 2 minutes in there.
It's a long 2 minutes.
Because the 4 hours does not dominate it enough. You have to make sure that there's an extra 120 seconds you have to sit there.
Yes, after the first 280 minutes. It's also...
That's a lot of minutes.
It's a thing. So what happens here now is I wrote a series of questions that you can ask me. You can go off book here a little bit, but I want to propel this conversation forward. So I've got some questions here. So here is the first question that you should ask.
I can read this.
I know, I wrote very neatly.
You never do. How long before the first musical number drops?
Yeah, so there's a musical number about 10 minutes into this film.
Wait, there's music. It's a musical. How many musical numbers are there?
Right, so there's at least 4 that I counted musical breaks in the movie.
Why?
I don't know. And they have, and this won't mean anything to you, but they have all of the emotional weight of an episode of Grey's Anatomy. So in this TV show, it's like a mom show. Mom doesn't watch it, but like moms do. And like randomly they'll break into some like some Sarah McLachlan song, and like, and as the characters go through something dramatic, right? So 10 minutes into the movie, that starts to happen.
Oh boy.
For no reason. And then you're thinking, okay, that can't happen again.
It can't, surely not.
It happens like at 13 minutes into it. It happens again immediately. And it happens at least 4 times. I stopped counting. And this is not counting just like dramatic music montage of like the score in the background. This is like an actual song. Like this movie has to have an actual soundtrack as well as the score. It may also have a soundtrack just of like weird special effects.
Yeah, so when I read this, I figured your answer was me. There's like no sound for the first 2 hours of the movie.
It's like there will be blood, but
yeah, exactly. That's what I was expecting. This is not unexpected already.
Unexpected already, right?
Yep.
So I will also say this. It's almost also like they had 3 or 4 different sound designers working on it, and those 4 people didn't talk to each other, and then Zack Snyder just picked random cues at random. Because there's like a score that might be like, the Justice League score, and then there's like the Wonder Woman like guitar score, and then there's like, some electronic boop doop 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 stuff for Cyborg, and then there's like Sarah McLachlan song.
So each character has their own score and Sarah McLachlan?
Kinda, yeah.
Of course.
So it's kind of a hodgepodge.
Because DC.
Because DC. That is correct. Okay, so I have another question here for you that you can start with there.
Okay. This one I can read less well. Does this version give more Hime?
Time.
Okay,
my handwriting's not great.
It looks like an A. Okay, sorry. To Flash or Cyborg?
Yes. So this one does give a lot more time to both those characters. Hold on, you can't turn over yet.
Oh.
This does give a lot more time to both those characters. Cyborg kind of becomes like the heart of the movie. Flash,
I appreciate that.
As you may recall from the first version of Justice League or Batman vs Superman, has a lot of comic relief to Flash. Like he's a humorous character in this,
which works.
Which does, yeah, it works well. And they put a lot more of that humor into him. Like, I mean, there's the hot dog scene.
I'm sorry. What?
There's the hot dog scene.
There's an iconic scene involving a hot dog.
Yeah. So I think we aren't really sure who this is, but they don't give this character a name. We'll assume it's Iris West, and that Flash saves like during one of his big introductions, and it's a whole new scene for this movie. And it's really good. And Flash enters the Speed Force and slows down time to save her. But and during the scene, like a truck hits like a hot dog vendor.
Naturally.
And so like the hot dogs go spewing everywhere throughout the Speed Force.
But slowly.
Very slowly, right. So like Flash can like look at the hot dogs.
That's a thing.
And then so naturally he picks one up and puts it in his pocket.
Okay.
And then for a while it just kind of like focuses on one sesame seed moving very slowly through the air.
Okay.
I think the slow motion is one of the reasons why the movie's 4 hours and 2 minutes.
I mean,
this scene lasts like 5 to 7 minutes
of him grabbing a hot dog.
I mean, there's other things that happen, but yeah, that's the slow motion hot dog might be 2 or 3 minutes of it. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, it's just a slow motion hot dog. It's like Flash like looking around, and he like grabs Iris, he puts her down, grabs the hot dog, puts it in his pocket. There's the sesame seed. Now, you might think that because the Flash, he doesn't seem to really have he's actually out a job interview, and naturally, and he doesn't seem to have much, so you would think he's just saving the hot dog for later, because he's like going to be hungry.
Yeah.
No, he actually uses it in his job interview.
I'm sorry, it sounded like you just said the Flash.
The Flash.
Uses a hot dog.
A hot dog.
In his job interview.
The hot dog that he gets from the Speed Force after it's been hit by the truck, yeah.
Yeah, and he uses it?
Well, yeah, because he's...
Does he feed it to... Does he use it as like a bribe?
Oh my god, you were so close. He was applying to be a dog walker. We assume. It may be like a dog seller, we aren't really sure. I think it's a dog walker.
All right, that's all I need to hear.
No, hold on, I got more questions.
That's all I need to hear right there.
Okay, so here's your next question.
All right, here we go. Is there more or less Wonder Woman? Is this as compared to Wonder Woman 1984?
Right, is there more or less Wonder Woman in this movie than there was in Wonder Woman 1984? That's the question.
Okay. I'm guessing more because there wasn't a lot of Wonder Woman in 1984.
Right, there's like no Wonder Woman 1984. So we talked about that movie too. This movie has a far amount more. And she's really good. And she's almost, I would say, like, the movie stresses itself out to tell you that Batman is like the captain of the team. Wonder Woman, I think, really is the captain of the team.
That's fair.
Like, cause she is by far, she's the only one that actually seems competent.
That is also very fair.
Yeah. And whether it's Wonder Woman or Diana, like, she commands the scenes that she's in. She seems to have everything together. She puts or Batman's like the recruiter to kind of get the team.
There.
Wonder Woman is more along the lines of the one actually kind of like, doing the heavy lifting.
Yes. That makes sense.
Okay. But, like, because of 1984, though, we know that 1984 takes place in 1984, and this takes place now.
Would make sense, yeah.
Yeah. So remember in 1984, like, when she starts to fly?
Yes, she did that in that movie.
So you would think she does that in this movie, but she doesn't, even though there are clear opportunities for her to fly.
She never flies.
Never flies.
Like, not once.
Not once.
But that's like all she... Ooh, that's like all she did in Wonder Woman 84.
That is all she did in Wonder Woman 84, yeah. So in this movie, there's even a point where where Wonder Woman, who can fly, but can't in this movie, and Flash, who can run really fast, and Cyborg, who can fly, and Batman, who has a grappling gun, are in the bottom of a giant nuclear accelerator.
I'm sorry.
Well, that's where the bad guy hides.
Oh, of course.
In a nuclear power plant.
Right.
So they're in the bottom of the nuclear power plant, and they have to walk up this really big nuclear power plant, like in The Simpsons.
Mm-hmm.
But they walk up the stairs.
Because...
Don't know. Even though Cyborg can fly...
The nuclear fumes are cutting off their flying
Don't know.
abilities.
All I know is that they painstakingly walk up, and then...
Is it like a music montage?
No, you would think that there would be, but no. Like, I would walk 500 stairs. No.
Right.
No, nothing.
No.
So Wonder Woman does not fly in this movie. Although, again, a lot of slow-mo with Wonder Woman. Not quite as much as the first Wonder Woman movie, but definitely more slow-mo Wonder Woman than in 84. And it's very obvious that Zack Snyder really likes to have Gal Gadot just like stand and growl in slow motion because it happens a
like
lot.
40 times.
It happens a lot.
More or less slow motion than in the original Justice League with Wonder Woman.
Oh, far more.
Well, it is 4 hours long.
You got to build that time in somewhere.
Yeah.
And mostly it's just her just.
I'm so glad I didn't watch this with you.
I mean, so that's a thing that happens. Okay, so all right, here's your next. Speaking about superheroes,
is Superman in this version more?
So if you'll recall, Superman dies in Batman vs Superman.
I do not recall because I have never seen it.
Oh, okay, well that happened, and so he dies, and so part of this movie is to try to say like whether or not they should be bringing him back to life, or not.
It's the ethics,
right? There, which is funny because they never actually bring that part into it. But yes,
that kind of seems like the big part of the discussion.
But it never happens. No.
Oh, okay.
Now,
maybe makes sense. You're right. My bad.
Now there is I gotta save it for another question. There is something that plays into it in the original version that's not in this one that plays later for no reason at all. But so. In the original Justice League, Superman gets resurrected, let's say at around like the 45-minute mark.
Yes.
Of a 2.5 hour movie, right?
That does happen.
Yeah. So in this movie, he's not resurrected until like hour 3.
Which seems like it would be towards the end, but you still got like 2 hours to go.
Or 3 or 4, yeah. I mean, it just seems really long. And here's the thing.
Because it is really long.
Yeah. But the thing is that they like, he's resurrected. They go to his grave and they exhume him. And they dig up the body, which has now been buried for some length of time, and it's still perfectly, like, not decomposed or anything.
Well, because he's Superman.
Right, I guess. And he's wearing, a shirt and tie and slacks and shoes and whatever, right?
Yeah.
But when they resurrect him, he's inexplicably not wearing a shirt.
But he was in, like, the grave.
With a shirt.
With a shirt.
Yeah. And then, inexplicably, he often doesn't have a shirt on.
Is there anyone else in the movie who just shows up without a shirt besides Aquaman? Obviously.
Well, Aquaman, they are paint like Superman just doesn't show up with shirts all the time. Aquaman often shows up with a shirt, and they just make sure they show you him taking it off.
Right, because that's how you get moms to watch the movie.
Right. Well, and Cyborg never has a shirt on at all ever.
Okay.
But he's also a cyborg, so it's really like, imagine if like Iron Man was just like silver, like all silver, and had no like really distinguishable features except for like a dude's face, which literally looks like painted on because it's really weird. And then every once in a while, like he has a shield that comes over his face, so he just looks like a silver Iron Man for the most part.
Nice.
But no shirt. But you really can't. So it doesn't matter as much as it is Aquaman always taking off his shirt, or Superman just not often walking around without
showing
one.
up with a shirt, right?
Yeah, he's just like,
we were supposed to wear clothes to this. Oh, my bad, guys.
But then, when they actually give him his suit back, it's not the blue suit. I think it's a black suit. I really couldn't tell because all the colors are all off.
Of course they are.
I mean, the colors all look weird. Okay, so let's see if we can get this movie here. So, all right, next question.
Are there any random Terminator 1 references?
Terminator 2.
Oh, because that's a 2.
Yeah. So there are. So Joe Morton, who is like the scientist guy at Cyberdyne in T2, is in this, and he's Cyborg's dad. And so what he decides is that when Cyborg, his son, has some like accident, and he, instead of accident, burying him or whatever, he tries to resurrect him and gives him the entire world's communication and technology array and implants it into him. So this
wasn't that in The Dark Knight?
Kinda, but they put it all inside of one kid.
Oh, that seems smart.
Yeah, so he is like Skynet.
Nice.
So the same actor basically built Skynet again.
That dude's so smart.
Yeah, I mean it's so
What an absolute genius. Is there more Cyborg in this version?
Yeah, so that becomes like a major plot point of the movie. And he's really kind of like this emotional heart of the movie. And it sounds stupid because of like Cyborg's backstory and that, he is basically, he can take over, like, he's like, oh, that person's poor, I'm going to give her more money. Or like, oh, I'll just, like turn off the nuclear codes or whatever. Because he can control any technology anywhere at any time.
That seems kind of overpowered and also seems like he could be a supervillain.
Yeah, he has a supervillain's backstory because he's disgruntled and he's upset and he's a cyborg and he didn't really kind of ask for it and he has all this power. I don't understand how he's not a supervillain, and he might be better if he were.
That is fair. Are there any surprise cameos?
There is a surprise superhero cameo. At one point, for, again, no reason whatsoever, Martian Manhunter's in it.
Of course he is.
So he kind of he shows up to talk like Lois into something, and he's masquerading himself as Martha Kent, but then everything he says about her happens to be true, that she's like losing the farm or whatever, which he really couldn't know, but he tells it to Lois for some reason to get Clark back or something without a shirt, and...
What?
Yeah, and so then all of a sudden Martha turns into Martian Manhunter and he flies away.
What?
And then at the end of the movie, Martian Manhunter, who's never seen again, comes back just to be like, oh yeah, hey dude, I'm Martian Manhunter. And then again, that's really it.
That's lit.
Okay, yeah, so that happens.
I thought it was going to be like a stupid, like, Superman alternate, like, evil ending or something.
Well, there is that too.
Of course there is.
So at the very end, so again, in the last version, there's a scene where Bruce has this dream about Superman going evil, and that's kind of why he doesn't want to resurrect Superman. In this one, they don't play that at the beginning. Instead, they play at the end for no reason. It does not fit the story in any way, shape, or form. It does not fit the ending at all. It just is weirdly put in there. And the Joker shows up.
Right, because...
reasons. And he goes on this really weird random speech for no apparent reason. And he talks about stuff, and it's all post-apocalyptic. And he mentions the evil Superman that's teamed up with Darkseid and is destroying the world.
Naturally.
Whereas, again, the first one, there's a point to it, because that's why Batman doesn't want to resurrect Superman. Maybe. But in this one, it's played as if that's the next movie or 2 or 3 or 5, or something. But it doesn't. It's not even an end credit sequence. It just happens in the narrative of the story.
Because DC.
And they don't even tell you it's a dream. It just happens. Oh, they do tell you it's a dream, but it just happens. It's weird.
It does seem kind of weird. All right. On a scale of 0 to 5, 0 being an absolute waste of 4 hours of your life, 5 being metaphysical perfection, how would you rate this movie?
It's a solid 3.
You're kidding.
I'm not.
That's a joke.
It's
a funny joke at that, but it is a joke.
It is the best movie of the DC universe. I'm not even making that up.
You're not kidding.
I'm not. I mean, now, I did kind of like Birds of Prey. It's not bad. I mean, I'm not counting Shazam in the DC universe because it's its own weird thing. Because Shazam was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So
you're not, like... But you just said all these things that make it sound really bad.
So, like, the first 2 hours are really good. And it's basically the Flash and Cyborg stories. And then the third, like, you get so it's also broken into 6 sections, 6 parts, and an epilogue. And the epilogue's the weird Joker scene. And the first 5 sections are really good. The 6th section, where you got to beat the bad guy, because again, it's still about the magical boxes. You got to find the magical boxes, and that's what stupidness with Steppenwolf. That's still bad. It's better than in Justice League original, but it's still bad.
Well, it's hard to be worse.
Yeah, but the first 5 sections are actually bad. Aren't bad. I mean, it needs an editor. It could have easily been 3.5 hours or 3.
Oh wow, that makes it sound so much better.
Yeah. And now Snyder wants to re-release it again and make another hashtag Snyder Cut.
Because?
Well, because he wants to put this one out in black and white. They can't see you just stare at me sarcastically.
Yeah, that just sounds really dumb.
Yeah, so he because the true vision is to see it all in black and white. Duh.
Why?
I don't know. But given he already has all these weird things going on with colors, which often is distracting, but at least it shows you color, and it wasn't obviously then filmed for a black and white vision, it just seems a little weird.
Yes, it does.
So he wants it in black and white, so there's going to be another hashtag Snyder Cut
of it in black and white.
In the black and white version.
Because.
Reasons.
Yes.
I don't think I'm going to sit through it again, though.
I do not blame you.
So, yeah, on a scale of 0 to 5, it's a solid 3. It's actually not bad. It doesn't...
Don't believe you.
It doesn't have a lot to go up against, right? Aquaman, as we remember, is a half-star movie.
I don't think it gets a half a star.
Yeah. And Suicide Squad is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It's on my top 5 worst movies of all time list.
It's worse than Aquaman?
Easily.
Oh, I don't know.
At least Aquaman's entertaining at times.
When?
Suicide Squad's the octopus that drums.
Okay.
And then Batman vs. Superman and Man of Steel aren't good. I mean, Wonder Woman, the original's good.
The original Wonder Woman's really good.
Until it falls apart at in the last act.
But it's still really good.
And then Wonder Woman 84 is just boring.
Yeah.
I think that's all the DC movies, right?
Shazam's better, though.
But I don't even count Shazam as part of the DCU.
That's fair.
Yeah, I barely even count Birds of Prey, and it's only, because it's its own little thing.
Gotcha.
But anyway, so that's hashtag Snyder Cut. It's on HBO Max. And if you have 4 hours to kill, in terms of re-releases and director's cuts, I would rank it up there with the Abyss director's cut or Dance with Wolves and things that actually just make the story better. I know I referenced Dance with the Wolves and I couldn't even stop myself from laughing at that one either.
Yeah, because really the Abyss, really.
But no, not bad.
Okay.
All right, everybody, we're off here because the tape recorder here is about to die.
Yes, it is. It's at. What, 10%?
And that it just goes fast.
10% of tape.
Yeah. So we'll talk to y'all next week. I hope you enjoyed our review of hashtag Snyder Cut. Does it make you want to see it now, Anthony?
Nope.
I mean, would you watch any of it?
Probably not.
You want to watch the trailer again where they inexplicably have, in black and white, where they inexplicably have Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah playing for no reason whatsoever?
Sure.
Which is not in the movie. That could have been one of the musical numbers.
Hallelujah.
But it's not. It's unbelievable. No. Yeah, hashtag more Cohen. All right, everyone. We'll talk to y'all later. Talk next week. Bye.